Hey, Jimmy Upscore guys. Campbell Games here to show you the custom PC I've built and all the pains and struggles that I've went through in building this PC. This is the first time I've ever built a PC, so it's a little rough, but this video is just to show you my little engine that could and all the components and unboxing that I've done. So here you go. The CPU that I decided to go with is the AMD Ryzen 5 1600AF. It does seem that I went with a potential lower CPU, but in all reality, it is just as fast as the second gen Ryzen 5 2600. Saved me around $50 for which I spent on a higher GPU. While the 1600 does come with a cooler, the Raid Stealth. For this build, I also decided to get an aftermarket CPU fan to help with overclocking. So here, I'm just going to disregard that. And then here's me just opening the package with my utility knife and opening up the GAMMAXX GT Deepcool. I decided to go with this because it is cheaper and I had good reviews on Amazon, which I purchased all my materials from. Alright, here we have the G.Skillz Ripjaws V, 3200 MHz, two 8GB DDR4 RAMs, just to help push the GPU and CPU to do better. Alright, here I have the power supply from Corsair CX550M, and it's 80 plus bronze. I decided to go with this than the higher one because with all the CPU and GPU components, it wouldn't need that much power to blow up my computer. And then this power supply is a semi-modular. There's all the extra cables that I need for like the graphics card, but it does have cables attached for the power to the motherboard. So it's cheaper, but then also it helps with cable management. Alright, here I went with the motherboard MSI B450 A Pro Max. I decided to go with this because it matched my price point that I wanted and it provided enough power and extra things to get me running very smoothly. And then here I forgot that I put in two 250 Samsung SSDs, so there's that right there. And then going through the box, there's all the paperwork and SATA cables for what I need to hook up the SSDs. And then there's the back plate, disk to install the drivers, but you never really need that. Then here we have the RaidMax NEON RGB case. As you can see, when I took it out, there's a few things wrong with it. There was a few straps that broke, so the front panel was a little off, but other than that, it came in as a real good case. I really enjoy this one. It looks real nice, real clean, has plexiglass on the side, and it feels very good. As the setup video is going double time, let me tell you about the process. Putting the CPU in was about the easiest thing, while putting the GAMMAXX cooling fan on was probably the most painstaking thing. There were so many parts and it kind of overwhelmed me. All the videos online that I've seen made it look so simple, where I would only have to put in a few screws and then zip tie the rest. Well, I was wrong, but I took my time and read the directions, which I never do as a husband, and it went a little bit smoother. One thing I will want to tell anyone who decides to do an aftermarket CPU fan is read the directions. For example, I didn't know there were two different types of brackets for the motherboard, one for the AMD and one for the Intel. Here, as you can see, I would have to hold the back bracket on and hold the cooling core at the same time while hand tightening the screws to hold it in place. The cables that come with the fan are a good length. The GAMMAXX core is very hefty, as you can see, but I know that this is so that the CPU won't even ever think about overheating. Now here, as I begin to cut the G.Skillz V DDR4 RAM, I noticed all I had to do is just pull it apart. So let's hope this RAM works, because I know now I can't even return it. This process is almost as easy as putting in the CPU, but I was a little worried thinking that I would break the plugs or the RAM itself. So just take your time and don't hulk out. The RAM should go into second and fourth slots if you have two like me. Next, we are almost ready to mount the motherboard. But first, we have to install the risers to the case. Each motherboard is different, so make sure you measure where each hole should be. Now here's a funny fact. Almost 80% complete, I found out that the aftermarket cooling fan was too big. Yes, one thing that I forgot to incorporate was which case would fit my setup. So skipping through the GPU setup of the GTX 1660 Super is because I feel that is just plug and play. After installing the power supply, just find the PCIe cable and connect it to the assigned plug. Now, here it is, what I've been waiting for. 6 hours later. Everything works. And then the peel. Oh, very satisfying. Alright, after this build, I like to go over the pros and cons of the build. First, the pros, because everyone likes to know the good things first. Good buy is the AMD Ryzen 5 1600AF compared to the Ryzen 5 2600. They both have 6 cores with hyperthreading and are both able to be overclocked. Benchmarks between the two are almost dead even, with the 2600 leading by 100 or less. With the 1600 getting the same speed and cores with the 2600, I would purchase the $40 to $50 cheaper unit so I could use the extra money to get a beefier GPU. Since I'll be gaming with the GPU, it will use little to none power of the CPU. Next is the RaidMaxx case. Looks awesome, simple as that. The front case has multiple colors and cycles you can switch through with the front panel button. Next is the motherboard from MSI B450 A Pro Max. Right from the box is amazing. The ports are clear and easy to reach. The startup with the BIOS is updated, so it makes it quicker to start up your PC and get to installing Windows. Startup and boot times are almost non-existent. Great for editing, downloading, and compressing. Overclocking with Afterburner is easy. It controls all the necessary things to help with overclocking and pushes your GPU to amazing stats. Even with overclocking for many hours, I've gotten little to none spikes of heat that go past 65 degrees Celsius. This build makes me feel safe knowing that I can keep my components nice and cool, but still get the potential from all the devices. Now, here we go with the cons. RaidMaxx case looks nice, but feels cheap. As of right now, the front panel is hanging on by one bracket. Easy fix is to put some 3M Velcro so that the case will stay on and easy to take off, but that makes it where I have to customize the case to make it stay together. The front panel USB and audio ports work 50% of the time. If I do not plug the USB in at just the right spot, the device will not read. The audio jack, well, might as well not be anything there because it barely works. Please do not use the front panels. MSI motherboard has all the things you need. Nothing really extra. No USB-C port, for which new cases are coming with, and only one JRGB port for only one plugin. So if you like a light show for your computer, please think of another board to do this with. Last cons will be the GAMMAXX Deepcool CPU cooler. It is an amazing product with RGB function, but one thing that is sacrificed on it is the plug. I have to hang the plug onto the port because the plug will not stay snug. It might be that I have to get an adapter for it to stay, but anything that I would have to purchase extra, I would put for a con, since I am a lower income builder. Hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned as more videos are to come. Also, if you enjoyed the background music, please support my cousin Exhilarate on his Facebook page and SoundCloud page.